Before LeBron James, before Bo Jackson, before Michael Jordan, there was Jim Thorpe, a man of unmatched talent and towering resilience. Jim Thorpe wasn't just a great athlete, he was the prototype of athletic excellence. The first Native American to win Olympic gold for the United States. Thorpe stunned the world at the 1912 Stockholm Games by winning both the Decathlon and Pentathlon, two of the most grueling events in athletics. Yet Thorpe was more than an Olympian. He was a star in professional football, baseball, and even basketball, rising to fame at a time when racial discrimination, cultural erasure, and systemic injustice were stacked high against him. This Then versus Now Deep Dive tells the story of Jim Thorpe, the son of Sac and Fox heritage, who battled prejudice, poverty, and politics and still left behind a legacy that is unmatched, unapologetic, and unforgettable. James Francis Thorpe was born on May 22, 1887, near Prague, Oklahoma, in Indian Territory. He belonged to the Sac and Fox Nation and was given the native name Wathohook, meaning bright path. Raised in a time of forced assimilation of Native Americans, Thorpe's childhood was difficult. He endured the trauma of being sent to Indian boarding schools, where his culture and language were forbidden. Tragedy followed. He lost both his twin brother and his parents, while still young, but pain also forged resolve. Sports became his outlet, his salvation, and ultimately his superpower. At Carlisle Indian Industrial School in Pennsylvania, under the strict eye of Coach Pop Warner, Thorpe's talents blossomed. He excelled in everything track and field, football, baseball, basketball, even ballroom dancing, which he won a championship in. He shocked the athletic world in 1911, when he single-handedly led Carlisle to an upset win against Harvard, one of the most powerful football teams of the era. In 1912, he was chosen to represent the United States at the Stockholm Olympics in the Pentathlon and Decathlon, to multi-event competitions designed to test the limits of human versatility and stamina. At the 1912 Summer Olympics, Jim Thorpe left an indelible mark. He won gold medals in both the pentathlon and decathlon. He competed in 15 events over just a few days. He even borrowed shoes from another athlete after his were stolen the morning of competition. King Gustav V of Sweden handed Thorpe his gold medals and famously said, "Sir, you are the greatest athlete in the world." Thorpe reportedly replied, "Thanks, King." He had redefined what an athlete could be, not only in performance but in presence. Just months after returning home a hero, a scandal erupted. It was revealed that Thorpe had played semi-professional baseball for small pay during his college years, a violation of the strict amateurism rules of the time, though many white athletes had done the same. Thorpe had no powerful defenders. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, stripped him of his medals. He wasn't just denied his victories, he was denied his place in history. It would take over 100 years before the IOC fully reinstated his Olympic titles. Undeterred, Thorpe turned to professional sports. Baseball. Played 6 seasons of Major League Baseball. MLB teams included the New York Giants, Cincinnati Reds, and Boston Braves, known more for speed and fielding than power football. Played and coached in what would become the National Football League, NFL. Named first president of the NFL in 1920, then called the APFA. Played until age 41, named to the NFL 1920s All-Decade Team Basketball. Played on a barnstorming Native American team across the U.S. Helped promote Native culture through sport. Thorpe wasn't just playing, he was pioneering. At a time when Native Americans were marginalized, he was beating the best on their own turf. Despite his achievements, Thorpe lived a life of hardship. Racism, lack of education, and the absence of a players' union left him with little financial security. He worked various jobs: construction, security guard, movie extra, ditch digger. He also faced struggles with alcoholism and poverty, often exploited for his name and legacy. Yet, even in his darkest times, he remained proud and resilient. His personal life was turbulent: 3 marriages, multiple children, and constant battles for recognition. But Thorpe never begged. He walked with the quiet dignity of a man who knew he had nothing left to prove. As time passed, America began to recognize what Thorpe had achieved. He received accolades late in life. In 1950, named greatest athlete of the half-century by the Associated Press's story-inspired books, documentaries, and the 1951 biopic, Jim Thorpe, All-American, starring Burt Lancaster. Thorpe died of heart failure in 1953, at the age of 65. His funeral was modest, but his legend was just beginning. His remains were controversially relocated to what is now Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, a town named in his honor. For decades, his family and supporters petitioned the IOC to restore his medals. In 1983, they returned his medals symbolically, but still listed him as co-champion. Finally, in July 2022, 110 years after Stockholm, the IOC officially declared Jim Thorpe the sole gold medalist in the 1912 decathlon and pentathlon. Justice, though long delayed, was finally done. Then, a Native American boy fighting to be seen, heard, and respected in a white man's world now. a timeless symbol of raw talent, resilience, and revolutionary greatness. Thorpe's life was filled with contradictions. Celebrated, yet stripped, admired, yet underpaid, remembered, but not always rewarded yet. His greatness never needed validation. He was what sport is supposed to be: natural, fearless, and free. Modern athletes still look to Thorpe. Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders called him the original multi-sport hero. Native athletes cite him as a role model and cultural touchstone. The NFL, MLB, and Olympics all honor him in their halls and histories. Thorpe's story is taught in schools. His name is whispered in locker rooms. His spirit lives in anyone who dares to be more than one thing and fight through everything to be it. In today's world of specialization, Thorpe remains the ultimate generalist, a man who could do anything, anywhere, against anyone. He was fast, he was strong, he was brilliant, but most of all, he was unbreakable. Jim Thorpe is not just in the history of sport, he is the reason it has a soul.